back to another episode of What the Elle. I'm your host, Elle Kramer, and today I am filming an episode that is kind of hitting close to home because I am currently going through a breakup, and it is hard, but I didn't have the energy to make a podcast because it was just a lot of stuff going on. Also, if you hear stuff in the background, that is my dog, so don't worry about that. That's just Ace, and he has been a real help, although he is kind of crazy at times. What are you eating? That is my hairbrush. Please don't eat that. Actually, let me brush my hair. I was looking for that, by the way. I cried for like 3 days straight, like literally 3 days straight. Like 10 out of 12 hours of the day, I was crying. It was bad. And I'm still kind of going through it. I'm kind of like going up and down because I'm kind of readjusting to being on my own again. Although I was on my own technically, it is weird to not be talking to that person every single day. And it wasn't a relationship that was bad necessarily. It was just that there were some things that weren't aligning with my life and how I would like to live my life in the future, because there were certain things that we just didn't see eye to eye on, and that's nobody's fault, but there's just certain things that I need. And although I still love him, I still have love for him, I wish him the best, I had to choose myself and decide to put myself first instead, because although I am still in love with him, I can still be in love with somebody, but also know that what I'm in right now isn't good for me, and that we are both in places that cannot be fixed right now or together, because it is just not rational. And so, with that, I wanted to try to give you guys some breakup advice and maybe talk things through with myself, since I have been journaling a little bit, but I also have been keeping really busy to distract myself from thinking about it too much, because I have been sad. So, yeah. So, here's my how to this is my breakup guide and how to get back into the swing of things because you're struggling. And so I'm not going to lie right now, it is hard, and it's going to be hard. And there was literally 2 days or 3 days where I literally just had to cry and watch Love Island and like write letters and write stuff in my notes app that I realized, and sob to my best friend and go back and forth about why I did it and like if it was right. But you need to trust yourself, and that just because you are with somebody doesn't mean that they are the right person for you. And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, and there's nothing bad about this person. I have love for him. I still want him to do well in life, and I wish him the best ultimately. And of course, I don't have ill will for him because I spent time with this person. So they are close to my heart, and a lot of their mannerisms and quirks and things that they did are still with me. But I think also there are certain instances that I saw and I kind of just brushed off and would make excuses for behavior that I didn't particularly love. And by that I mean there was instances of toxic behaviors, and I just felt anxious a lot of the time. So it was really hard for me to it can be really hard to be honest with yourself sometimes whenever you're in a situation where you really love somebody and you don't want to see their behaviors as, you don't see anything wrong because you are just so, you're so, I am such a empathetic person and I justify people's behaviors too much sometimes because I'm a people pleaser and I like to see my partner happy. And that is something that I realize in myself. And yes, you can have a healthy relationship while still healing, but if there are this many toxic tendencies already prevalent, not just on his part, but on my part too. This isn't, it takes two to toxic. And that's not saying that he's a toxic person, but tendencies that just didn't sit well with me. And I am very emotionally driven. Let's just say that. So it is important for me to be able to feel like whenever I express my feelings that I am heard and I'm validated. And for some reason, I think our communication styles were so different that that didn't translate well because we were in a long distance relationship. So it was just hard for us to communicate because whenever we weren't together, I would just forget about the problems that I felt like whenever weren't together. There are 5 stages of grief, and I think I have gone through all of them like every single day. The 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And yes, denial is the first stage. And I think for 2 days, I felt like this wasn't real. And I didn't pull the trigger and break up with him. But I did. And so I just felt so guilty because I felt like I I not only broke my heart to break up with him, but felt like I broke his heart like whenever I broke up with him because of course we love each other. Like that's the point of being in a relationship. We love like you love one another, but there were just things that I couldn't that just weren't aligning with me, and there are just certain aspects of a relationship that we weren't aligning on. And that's not to say he's a bad person. It was just like, could we be together forever? And that answer wasn't certain. And so I had to respect him and also ultimately respect myself. And I've been on both ends of the breakup. Like I've been the person to break up with the person and I've been the person who's got broken up with. So I've been both of them and they're both not fun. They both are awful feelings and I don't wish them upon a soul because you just want to shrivel up and crawl into your own grave just because it just feels like it's never going to end and the pain that you're feeling like is never going to subside. And for me, like I was literally going like hour by hour trying to make it through, trying to convince myself not to text him because yes, it was so hard to not text him. And that is something that you need to not do. You need to not text the person that you broke up with or that broke up with you because there is a reason that that happened. And you should you should give time for the dust to settle, and you should give time for you to have clarity within your emotions because emotions are high, feelings are heightened, everything is going wrong, and you just need a beat. You need a minute to let the dust settle, and you need to take time to yourself. And so yeah, it is very important to not text that person, not reach out. If you have to delete their number and put it into a friend's phone so that you can still have it in case you still need to talk to them at one point, that is okay. That doesn't mean you can never talk to them again. It just means at least like for 3 weeks you need to give the time for dust to settle because it's just not right. It's not fair to bombard them whenever you either just probably shattered their heart or you got your heart shattered. You should just like you should respect their decision, but also you should respect that you probably really hurt them and that they need time to grieve and process things, because you may have already had time to grieve and process things before they did. Yeah. So the next thing is to allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel. And by that, 1 hour I'm crying, 1 hour I'm not feeling, like I'm just feeling numb and sad. And the next hour I'm okay. Like it literally fluctuates. Healing is not a linear process. And this is just for grief in general, but especially breakups, because you can go from like I miss him to I hate him to I love him, I want him back, I want to text him, and crying hysterically. Like I was crying hysterically and for like 3 days, and I was like, I literally can't keep crying, like I need to do something. So I was like, I need to go back to work. And I was like, I think this will be good for me because I need to remember why. Like I just need to I need to distract myself, I need to talk to people, and like I can have like a good customer service voice and like pretend like everything's fine, even though like my world is crashing down on itself. It'll be fine. Like I keep telling myself that it'll be fine. So, like, allow yourself to feel your emotions. Cry if you need to. There's nothing wrong with crying. Feeling those things that tear us apart inside. You don't want to not feel that now, because imagine not feeling that and then seeing them 6 months from now, and like you still have all of these unresolved feelings. And it's good to journal, it's good to meditate. And for me, this is kind of my therapy, like talking on here, because I mean, I have been journaling, I have been talking to friends, and it's important to have a good group of friends around you, especially a group of supportive people around you who will take care of you and nurture you back to life, because breakups suck and you are allowed to cry for a few days, you are allowed to rot in bed for a few days, you are allowed to go through the struggle bus, because it is hard. And you can watch the Gilmore Girls for like a few days and sit in the dark and just cry and just like do what you need to do, but don't reach out to them, and try not to stalk their socials, because that is just going to make it even harder to forget about them, because ultimately out of sight out of mind is the way to let it go and heal it and come to terms with it, because you're not going to sometimes get closure. And that is something that is I'm also having to come to terms with, because I don't know if I will actually be getting closure. Like I don't know if we'll ever speak again. Of course I want to speak to him again, but like I don't know if he wants to ever speak again, and I want to give him his space, but like it's important to just remember why, and like write a list of reasons of why you did what you did, or of what you can do to better your life now that you don't have the responsibility. And something else you can do is flip the narrative and be like, okay, now I have more time to get to do things just for me, and I can get back into routine. And that is a really good thing. Like you have all of this time for yourself now. You don't have to worry about texting somebody good morning. You don't It's not necessarily saying like go jump back in and like start partying every weekend. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like do that if you want, if that's how you cope, but like get back into a good swing of things and keep yourself busy. But just because you're so like don't be overly busy, because that's kind of what I was doing. I literally worked a double on Sunday because I was like I don't want to think about not being with him right now, because we were supposed to be together today and I'm really sad about it. So I'm just going to go make money. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to just work a double to not think about how you're feeling. And I am not saying that's healthy, but sometimes it's a little bit of motivation to make more money. I don't know, And also it is important to trust your gut. And for me, I kind of feel like I lost a little bit of trust in myself, and I'm still trying to rebuild that back up. I'm just feeling weird now. I'm feeling sad, and I have to be honest with myself. And whenever I'm feeling these ways, like I'm just going to be like, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I check in, like I have my accountability best friend who like checks in with me to make sure that I'm okay and see how I'm doing daily, because like a lot of the time she's like, how are you doing, Elle? And I'm just like, I feel weird, I feel sad. And in those moments, I just pray, and I pray for him, and I ask God to guide me and allow me to have clarity on the situation, because it is really hard, because there are things that I am like wondering what he's doing, and I'm wondering if he's okay, but like also that's not my responsibility anymore, and it's not fair for me to make that my responsibility whenever we ended things. And just stop trying to think about what they're thinking. That's also so much easier said than done, because it is like a little obsessive and addictive if you get into that habit of doing that. And just whatever you do, try to not reach out to them, because that will just make the situation worse. You are not doing yourself a favor. I almost reached out to my ex, but I didn't. I went to the gym instead. And sometimes just getting back, like, go to the gym. That literally, I went on the day like of my breakup and on the day after, and I literally cried on the leg press. Like, I was just sobbing, crying, and it was not cute. Um, yeah, I watched like a whole season of Love Island and like cried, and it was like, oh my god, we used to eat pizza together, and like cry, and like, no, I was literally not. I'm not even kidding. It was bad. I kind of just feel like right now, like I'm still just getting used to everything. So I don't really, that's my advice on what to do for whenever you go through a breakup. Just take my advice with a grain of salt, because I'm not a licensed professional. I'm just a girl who is going through things right now and who's still figuring it out and still in college, just trying to get back to a good regimen and a good routine for herself, because breakups are hard, either whether you were the one who got broken up with or did the breaking up with. It just sucks to hurt somebody's feelings. It sucks to get your feelings hurt. It sucks all around, because sometimes it feels like you wasted time, but like that's not true. You learn things, you grow, and now you know more for the next person. And like sometimes that's not what you want to hear right away. And like I don't even know what I want to hear. I don't know what I want to hear. I don't want to talk about it because it just makes me sad. And so I think with that, I'm gonna do a part two of how this breakup is going, because right now this is like still pretty fresh. Um yeah, I'm gonna get off because I'm gonna start crying. So yeah, this is still pretty fresh on my heart. I've been giving it to God and hanging out with friends, and I brought my dog here for moral support because I haven't really liked to be alone. But whenever I was at work, I was forced to be alone. I wasn't necessarily alone, but I didn't have like my best friend to accompany to go run normal errands, because on like the second or third day of my breakup, she was like, "We are leaving the house, Elle. Like, you've been here all day and you haven't done anything." And I'm like, "I know." And then she's like, "We're going to Costco." So we went to Costco, and I started crying like while we were going through all of the aisles, like looking for collagen peptides for her mom. It was like such a moment in time that I will never forget. That I'll tell my kids about. Actually, I don't know if I'll tell my kids about that, but I know everything happens for a reason, and to trust yourself and to lean on people that you love. And if you have animals, this is also the best time to love on them extra, because they feel these things and they know whenever you're going through something. Because Ace, like, he literally wouldn't come lay with me in my room, and now he like follows me all the time. But I think that's because I take him to do stuff the most. Like, I'm probably gonna go take him for a walk after this. Do you want to go for a walk, Ace? Yeah? Ace, I'm gonna go for a walk. You have to come sit in the camera. Come sit. He's still learning. He's so good though. Come see Ace. I wish I could just take him everywhere with me. I wish he was a service dog, but he's so silly. I don't know if he could qualify for that. Oh wait, Ace, don't do that. Actually, let me lie. Let me not lie. Ace is so smart. He just likes to pretend like he's not, so he can not do things, because he definitely knows whenever he does bad things. But poor thing, I need to go get him groomed. He's so furry and it is so hot right now, and I know he's like, please make me not sweat. I need to feel better, because poor thing can barely see. He is such a little precious boy. But yeah, I think it's time for him to go for a little walk. He's turning his head left and right. So I think that either means he wants to go or he's tired, because he's been hanging out at the office all day. Ace, do you have anything to say? Okay, well, he doesn't have anything to say. He just keeps trying to bite the microphone. I think he's tired, but I think I'm gonna make him go to the park with me because I that's kind of therapy for me. And yeah, I'm going to give you guys more updates. And sorry for being inconsistent for the past 2 weeks. I am going through it right now, but we are back. We're back and we are better and we are going to be okay. And if you're going through a breakup right now, I'm sorry. And I am praying for you and I wish you the best. And my DMs are always open to talk, or if you need advice. I love to talk to people. I'm not a licensed professional. I am a minor in psychology, so I do love psychology. I'm not a psychology major, but I do know a lot about people now. So that makes me feel like I justify everyone's behavior now. I'm like, oh, I know exactly why you did this because of this psychological reason. And now I understand why you did it. So I can't be mad at you for it. Therefore, I hope that we can still be friends. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Eleanor Rose Kramer. Make sure to follow What the Elle podcast on Instagram, and make sure to follow me on YouTube at What the Elle with Elle Kramer. And I will be starting school soon, so I will be getting busier, but I will still be here. And yeah, I can't wait. We are going to have a lot of fun episodes. Let me know if you guys want me to bring back guests because I know it's been like, well, no, my episodes have just been so random lately because this summer has just been like so interesting. Like, it's been a very interesting summer. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to leave with that. So now I'm going to go walk my dog because I love my dog. So, yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a great Friday. And summer Fridays, we only have a few of those left. So make sure you really make them count. I love summer Fridays. Summer Fridays, you should sponsor me. This is my favorite. We love summer Fridays. I don't know why. It's just like always around whenever I'm about to record. And just in general, we love summer Fridays. So, yeah, everything's going to be okay. You got this. Healing is not linear. That is the biggest thing for me right now. Healing is not linear and it's going to be hard. I love you. Bye.